Welcome back to our fourth lecture of engineering metrology. Let us see in the previous let us take a review of last lecture. In the last lecture we have seen the different types of errors, then the sources of errors in the measurement, their classification, then two types, that is controllable or systematic errors, then random errors. Then these are some types of controllable errors, that is calibration error, ambient or environmental error, then stillness or contact pressure, then avoidable errors or observational errors, and the second type, that is random error or unavoidable errors, then the sources of random errors, then the difference between the systematic error and random error. Then let us see the first point, that is factors to be considered while selecting the suitable measuring instruments. Which are those factors which are important while selecting the suitable measuring instrument? So first point is quantity to be measured. Okay, what we have to measure, what we have to actually measure, length, height, angle, or whatever parameter that we have to measure, so that the selection of instrument, that is particularly depends upon what we have to measure or the quantity being measured. Then the second point, that is the range of measuring instruments. So if suppose we are taking a simple example of small scale, meter scale, so that comes in a 15 centimeter, 30 centimeter, 1 meter. So that is the range, that is 0 to 15 centimeter, that is also the range, then 0 to 30 centimeter, that is also the range, and 0 to 100 centimeter, that is also the range. On that particular range or application we are selecting the instrument, so that is also the important factor for the selection of measuring instrument. So then third factor, that is precise measurement. If we are measuring particular quantity, then there is the requirement of precision in the measurement. In that case we have to use the precise measurements. So measuring instrument, precise measuring instruments. Precise means the instrument must give all the readings which are close to each other, That means it will not show the difference between the measured readings, so that it must have the high precision. Then more accuracy, this is also the important factor, because for the more accuracy we must select the proper instruments. Then sensitivity, readability of the instruments, because proper sensitivity, proper readability is necessary for the proper measurement. Then computability of the instrument. If suppose one instrument that is taking the input quantity and that is actually displaying that particular output of the measured quantity on a digital display, this is one instrument, and other instrument that is not showing actually the actual measured value on a display, but we required to calculate or use some formula, or required to calculate the actual measured value. So as per our requirement, if the instrument is calculating the final value, measured value, so compatibility of the instrument, that is also the important factor. Then easy to operate, the instrument is user friendly, that is easily for the operation while measurement, that is also the important factor. then the low capital cost. The cost of the measuring instrument that must be very low, then easy for the maintenance at low cost. If suppose that instrument has some maintenance, in that case we can easily repair that with the low cost components. Then simple in design and constructional details. Whatever the instrument is that is simple in design, that must not be complicated. It doesn't have any complicated parts, so simple constructional features that are included in the measuring instruments. So these 10 are all the factors for the selection of suitable measuring instrument. Then next point is characteristic of measuring instruments for giving precision or precise measurement. As we know that precision is the repeatability of measuring process or repeatability of measuring instruments, that means to give repeated readings for multiple times. That property of the measuring instrument is known as the precision. So as to achieve that precision, the instrument must have the following characteristics. First is the higher degree of sensitivity. So as to get the proper precision, the measuring instrument that must be sufficient sensitive. Because of that sensitivity, we will get the close reading or the repeated readings to each other. Then high degree of accuracy, that is also the important factor, because if the instrument doesn't have high degree of accuracy, in that case there is the production of error, then that instrument will not give us the actual measured value or the actual readings. Then good amplification. The measuring instruments have good amplificated the measuring instruments have amplificated measuring or the magnification scale, because if the instrument is taking a small input, then that input is shown as a magnified output by the instrument, so that there must be a good amplification or magnification must be there. So proper calibration, next point, proper calibration of measuring instrument is required so as to get the proper precision. Then minimum inertia, that means whatever the measuring instrument parts that has a very low weight, so that it will not provide or it will not add some additional pressure so as to produce the contact pressure error, so that the measuring instruments have a very less weight, then less wear and tear. The measuring instrument or the parts of measuring instruments have a less wear and tear, so that there is the accuracy of the measuring instrument is maintained and also it will give the precise measurement. So these are the characteristics of high precision instruments. Then precautions while using an instrument. The first precaution is the finished and polished contact surface of the measuring instruments that should not be touched by the hands. Whatever the polished or finished parts or the contact surface of the instruments that should not be touched by the hands, because the natural acids that are deposited on a skin are likely to be that may corrode the contact surfaces. Due to that property or due to that problem, so we do not touch the finished or polished contact surface of the measuring instruments. Then the second precaution is temperature of the human body may affect the dimensions, because due to that higher temperature of the body, the workpiece or the measuring instrument that may get expanded or contracted. Due to that, it will not show us the actual reading or the readings close to the standards or the true value or the measure value. So that the temperature of human body is also important, so that one must not touch directly with the measuring instruments. Then before using the instruments, wash the hands thoroughly. Then the instrument surfaces should be provided by coating thin film of pure petroleum jelly. Okay, this is also very important. Then standard temperature for the measurement is 20 degrees Celsius, but sometimes it is not possible to maintain the standard temperature while taking measurements. It is also suggested to do the measurements when the temperature of the both measuring instruments and the workpiece that are about 20 degree Celsius. That means we have to take the measurements about the 20 degree Celsius. Then equipments like slip gauges having the higher accuracy are allowed to handle only by using a piece of chamois leather. Chamois leather. That means direct handling is not allowed in case of slip gauges. Then brushing over contact surfaces is not recommended. So that for the cleaning we must not brush over the contact surfaces, because there may be a chances of wear and tear. So that what if in case of there is wear and tear in case of slip gauges, so that slip gauges will not give the proper readings, so that there is production of errors in the measurement. When the measuring instrument is not in use, it should be protected by atmospheric corrosion. For this purpose, the highly finished surfaces are first wiped and then solvent to remove any finger marks or any other coated with mixture or heated with petroleum jelly or petrol. These are some precautions that are taking while using an instruments. Then the concept of least count of measuring instruments. Let us take an example of vernier caliper. So in that case, the least count is the ratio of value of smallest division on main scale, to the number of divisions on vernier scale, So least count is equal to the value of smallest division on main scale, to the number of divisions on vernier scale, so that it is a ratio of value of small division on main scale to the number of divisions on vernier scale. As we know that the vernier has two scales. First is the main scale and the second one is the vernier scale. So that number of divisions on vernier scale are number of divisions on vernier scale are 50, and the smallest division on main scale, that is 1 millimeter. So that if 1 is divided by 50 is equal to 0.02. In the figure we can see smallest division on main scale, that is 1 millimeter, and total divisions on vernier scale, that is 50. So that 1 is divided by 50, so that the least count of the vernier caliper is 0.02 millimeter. This is also the another method. So in this way we have seen our chapter number 1. So this is the assignment number, some questions for the assignment number 1. Define metrology, state the objectives of it or need of it, then the difference between the systematic errors, random errors, then define accuracy and precision, then state the advantages of interchangeability, what is the interchangeability, define interchangeability, then explain the parallax error with the neat sketches, then explain environmental error, calibration error, Then last, draw the diagram indicate the reading of 4.32 on vernier scale. In this only the last question that is pending, because that is related to the practical. Okay, so that we will take at the time of practical. That will be our first practical. In that practical we will take this problem. Okay, so everyone try to solve this assignment. Okay, thank you.